There's been a lot of focus on the TTIP, on the Transatlantic Trade and Investment Partnership between the U.S. and the EU as an economic negotiation. So there's been a lot of attention to the economics. There's been much less attention to the geopolitics of TTIP. TTIP's motivated not just by economic considerations. It's a way for the U.S. and the European Union to gain, again, more vigor and confidence in their economic interactions. It's going to potentially make the U.S.-EU relationship more effective in working together, not only economically but also politically. If you have a common transatlantic marketplace, you're going to base your policies a lot more on considerations for each other. The second area is how both the United States and the EU reposition themselves for the world we're facing rather than the world we left behind. So it's not just a trade agreement. It's how we relate to the international rules-based order. Our challenge is not whether Europeans would take an American standard or Americans take a European standard. The challenge we have today is whether, because of the global economy, the erosion of our standards of health, safety, all those things will mean we both take a Chinese standard. And neither one of us, the United States or Europe, are now strong enough on their own to assert that high standards continue in the international economy. So only together will we be able to maintain the kind of standards to which our people have been used to. So this is a high standard initiative, not a low standard initiative. The third area is how we relate to emerging economies. Many of these countries that are now rising are having their own debates about how they relate to the international system, the multilateral system. Do they challenge it or do they work with it? So our message to them as they have their debates is very important. And what is our message? So far, there's been an American message. There's been many European messages, which means there's no message. So only if we together are clear that we want to open economic flows, we want to have more commerce, but only on the basis of certain standards, that we're not prepared to lower those standards, are we going to have much impact on those debates. If those countries believe the international system is robust, strengthened by the U.S. and Europe, and they are welcome to participate in that way, the likelihood that they join in is higher than if we try to each compete with each other in these third markets to eke out some marginal advantage, which, again, given the world we're facing, neither one of us is going to be successful at. So it's a way to come back together across the Atlantic, not to close others out, but to engage them in a way to strengthen the system for the future, rather than think in old terms, Cold War and other kinds of terms.